Hey guys, I wanted to talk about on this episode how kids are being basically brainwashed by schools, and especially about stuff like Black history and like recognizing other races and cultures besides the white people that actually built America for what it is. So I wanted to start with this study that I found crazy. So let me just see. In 2008, education professors from Stanford and the University of Maryland asked 2,000 11th and 12th graders to name the 10 most significant American people who had never been president. Here were their overwhelming choices. Coming in first, okay, was Martin Luther King. In second, the anti-segregationist protester Rosa Parks. And then third, Harriet Tubman, the escaped slave. Okay? Those were the three that were overwhelmingly picked ahead of people like Benjamin Franklin, Emily Dickinson, Mark Twain, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, you know, Rockefeller, Carnegie, Swift, like Patrick Henry, um, Robert E. Lee, like all these actually great people, okay? And they chose Martin Luther, Rosa Parks, and Harriet Tubman. Now, maybe, yes, maybe I'd be put Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, he could maybe be on the list, but Rosa Parks and Harriet Tubman, these are nobodies who accomplished nothing significant or good at all. The Rosa Parks incident was completely fake and really didn't mean anything at the time. People just celebrate it today. And Harriet Tubman, an escaped slave, like you're putting an escaped slave number three on the 10 most significant Americans of all time not to be president. That's insane. And it shows that this must be all they talk about in school is this kind of stuff. You know, not a Benjamin Franklin's inventions or anything like that. They're talking about Harriet Tubman escaping from slavery, or Rosa Parks going and sitting on a bus. Like, this is why, you shouldn't send your kids to school. I would definitely recommend private school, if you can find a good one. Most likely you can't. And then homeschooling them is definitely the top option. So you can actually teach them important things, okay? Like, it's actually crazy. Um, then I basically wanted to show you that study so you can actually see, how brainwashed they are. And then I wanted to look at a couple more things, like the other study. This is more to do with civil rights, actually in practice. Okay, by 2007, high risk mortgages made up 22% of you know portfolios in the United States. It used to be only like 1%, and because it's high risk mortgage, you can't give high risk mortgages means you probably shouldn't have passed out the mortgage, but they're giving it out to these minority people who they know probably won't be able to pay it off because of affirmative action in in the US and stuff. Like they're literally it showed that the likelihood of you getting a mortgage showed a negative correlation. Well, not you, but overall between the likelihood of you paying it off. Yes, that you heard that right. Banks were giving people mortgages. Okay, you're more likely to get a mortgage if you were less likely to actually pay it off. And obviously, you know why? Because they're giving it to minorities who were less likely to pay off the mortgage instead of like white people, straight white men who were actually likely to pay them off, couldn't get the mortgages. That's insane, okay? Like, moving on to a different headline, is the US government spying on you personally? Well, we don't really know, okay? But the US actually they have access to every phone call you've ever made or ever will make and anything you do on any social media basically. So if they wanted to, they could take you and look at any phone call you've ever made, or you know, any social media, and they can do that legally. They don't even need like a lawsuit or anything, or you don't even need to be a criminal. They're just allowed to do that. Okay? So I think yes, it's fair to say for bigger name people, or if anything, if they don't like you, you're being spied on constantly. And I don't think that's right. I think people have a right to basic privacy from their government, like a right to not be spied on by the government that you are paying their salaries out of your tax money. Like, I can see, if you're like a criminal or something like that, yes, they're keeping an eye on you. But if you're just a normal citizen, they should not be doing that at all in any way. Okay? Moving on to another interesting topic here. Just wait a second. Sorry, guys. So, I wanted to look at like donations to political parties, and like this shows that like all rich people are on the side of the Democrats because I don't even know why. Maybe because they just can do whatever they want basically without worrying about the Constitution or something like that. Okay, so if you look at the top 100 people, by amount of money they donate to political parties, it's like 95% of them donated to Democrats, and like the other like 5% were Republican. Like, it's actually crazy. This shows like how much the elites despise you and actually don't care about you at all. Because I'm all for protecting capitalism and stuff like that, but the problem is all those people, once they get rich, they stop actually caring about like hard work and stuff, and then they start caring about looking good to minorities, and going along with the Democrat crazy people. Okay, because I can guarantee you half of those people don't actually support Democrat ideals. They just don't want people to yell at them. They don't want DEI agents at the company and stuff. They don't want to be like whatever. Okay, they're cowards basically. So I don't it's hard to respect people like that. Yeah, they've done great things. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs passed away, but he did great things. Okay, but at the end, they're kind of cowardly, and it's just hard to respect them when they're just obviously just bending to the will of the mob. You know, you see all these people like old stuff will come out about, geez, these people actually used to be Republican, like they used to support all this stuff. I guarantee that most of them still think that's what's actually right. They're just too scared to actually admit it. That'll do it for the show today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Have a great day. Godspeed.